Hey book friends, welcome to my fall TBR. You guys, I love making this list of books in particular. I always do seasonal TBRs. I love making them. Fall is just a special sort of TBR because there are books that I hold on to that are very fall, spooky season, that have more of that gothic, atmospheric vibe, witchy books, vampire books. I hold on to these for this season and then I can never get to them all, but I get so very excited to put this list together. And so this year I am working only off of my shelves. I have some romance books, I have lots of dark academia books, I have a number of YA books, I have witchy books, I have a few like horror, light horror. I think I'm gonna try like YA horror. I'm not really too fussed about it if I don't read horror, but I do have these on my shelves, so I thought now's the time to pick them up. So stay tuned and I will go through all of the books that are on my potential pile for this upcoming fall. So hi, my name is Angie. Welcome to the channel or welcome back. Like I said, I am sharing with you my fall TBR. So these are not recommendations. These are books I want to read this fall. I have made a previous fall recommendations list. It's a couple years old, so I'll link it above and maybe I'll consider making a new one because like I said, there's really something about this time of year. But let me hop in to just what I have on my shelves. Now this one I haven't even hauled yet, but I have heard a number of people talking about it and it sounds like my kind of book. So it's a YA witchy book. It's called The Glittering Edge by Alyssa Valeri. Very much has Raven Boy energy, where our main character is a witch and there's these two rival families. Now it sounds like there's this like love games that went wrong in previous centuries between these two rival families. So now if they fall in love, they're cursed to die or have an accident, which definitely does remind me of the Raven Boys. But it sounds like our main character, Penny, her mom has fallen victim to this curse and she has to either solve it or do something to save her mom. And she has to enlist the help of some of the boys from the family. And I think there's a love triangle. I'm a big love triangle fan. So this is the first book on my fall TBR. Okay, another book that's been on maybe a couple of fall TBRs that I really do want to get to is One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig. Now, I feel like this book in particular sounds really intriguing based on its magic. It has this like tarot card magic. Our main character of Elspeth, she lives in a region that is like infested with dark magic. She actually has some sort of like monster in her head. Like there's a voice in her head that's talking to her. I'm not quite sure where that's going, but due to some circumstances, she gets swept into this band of people who are on a quest to fix the magic or something like that. Every time I describe this book, I don't know what's going on, but every time I hear someone talk about it, they get very excited. I also have Immortal Dark by Tega Skirma. Now this was really popular last year. From what I remember it to be about, it has to do with vampires. It has to do with sisters, like our main character of Kaiden, whose sister, June, disappears and Kaiden believes it's a vampire who stole her. And so I think she's trying to like infiltrate this university, and then it sounds like there's like murders, and so it has very much like dark academia, secret society, vampires. All right, I picked this up on a whim. It took me like a year of hearing people talk about it. So this is Bride by Ali Hazelwood. I have enjoyed her books in the past, her STEM books in particular, some more than others. So she's not hit or miss. I really do enjoy her books, but I was just not sure about this book. I think what finally drew me into wanting to pick this book up was the idea of an arranged marriage. In this case, it's between a vampire and a werewolf. And so this is a paranormal romance that I'm just gonna give it a shot. All right. Another book that I really feel like has fall vibes is Starling House by Alex E. Harrow. Now this author, I loved one and I was a little unimpressed with another book. So I didn't really like the 10,000 Doors of January, but I loved Once and Future Witches. I think I'm just going to give this author another chance. And this book seems like a book that I would really like. It has like a haunted house, very gothic vibes. It has to do with a brother sister who are down on their luck, I believe. Yes, orphans, high school dropouts. But then there is this author, E. Sterling, who has this like run-down house, and there's a lot of rumors around this house, and then our main character of Opal is obsessed with it and she has a chance to step into the house and strange things happen. I don't want to read much more than that. I don't want to know if there's like ghostly elements. I want to just read it and find out. Now, like I mentioned, I do have a number of YA books. I've been really enjoying YA lately. This is called Lore of the Wilds by Annalisa Brina. This has to do with our main character of Lore, who lives, I believe, in this village right next to the fairy lands, and her village is not doing well. There's some problems with the fae. I think they mistreat them in some ways, but then there's these two fae men, males, whatever, that come to her town, and I don't know how she gets roped into agreeing to this bargain to help them with this library that I guess the Fae can't touch the books, but humans can, and so she agrees to help them out, but she's secretly trying to like figure out how to get magic for herself. So they both have kind of ulterior motives, and I think the second book came out this year. So I want to give this a shot. I feel like it sounds very atmospheric. I love a good library setting, so I'm down for that. I do want to continue with the Raven Boys series, so I am on book 2, and this is The Dream Thieves. So this series is by Maggie Stiefvater, and I really enjoyed our main characters of Blue and then Gansey and all the other boys that are the Raven Boys, and how they were investigating ley lines. See, I kind of remember enough about it to really find it interesting. Like in the first book, it really focuses on the fact that Blue, in her family, there's like this curse. If she kisses a boy, he dies, or if she falls in love with a boy, he dies. I can't quite remember it, but I do want to continue with the series. I found the whole set at a used bookstore here in our new town, and so I snatched it up. Okay, I also have this book, Wild is the Witch by Rachel Griffin. If I remember this one right, it has to do with a woman who's a witch. And in this world, I feel like there's like a witch council. There's like government around witches or something like that. It sounds like she's been in trouble before. They've been forced to move, and now she's kind of stuck and she can't practice witchcraft or something like that. And so she writes these spells or curses and doesn't intend to use them. And then there's this annoying boy, and she writes a curse for him or something like that, but with no intention of using it until like there's a bird involved, and he's actually an ornithologist, and so they have to team up to try and like track back down this bird so things don't go terribly wrong. That's my understanding from this book. I think that sounds really fun. And just witchy books, yes please, sign me up. Okay, so I do have a couple other YA. I might as well just get the YA on my list. So I have a few that are a little bit light horror. So this is what I was saying when I was like, I don't read horror, but I could potentially pick some up. So The Luminaries by Susan Dennard is really intriguing to me. So this is the one that is set in this small town called Hemlock Falls, and Winnie Wednesday, she's part of a family that's been like shunned for some reason, but she feels like that if she joins this like secret society, she'll be accepted, her family will be accepted again. And so on her 16th birthday, she takes the deadly luminary hunter trial. But I think before she does that, she has to like work with this boy who used to be her best friend, and for some reason he knows a lot more about the woods than he should. And so I don't know, that just sounds really interesting, like what's going on with these woods. I think that's probably where the scary atmospheric aspects of that book come out. Okay, another one that I think sounds really good is The Whispering Dark by Kelly Andrew. So this has to do with our main character, what's her name? Delaney. And Delaney is deaf, and she's always been treated badly because of it, but she's allowed into this prestigious program. It is a high school, and it's a magic school from what I understand, and they're taught how to slip between worlds, or something to that notion. But then there is this other boy on campus called Colton, and he has a mysterious past, and she wants nothing to do with him, but he's intrigued by her because he associates her with his past in some way, and she's trying to avoid him, but things start happening. Yet another student turns up dead, so they have to form an alliance to figure out what's going on and hopefully not get sucked into kind of an alternate world or universe or something to that notion, which just sounds really interesting. So this book is also YA, but it's not Gothic or any of that stuff. It is the last book within the Truly Devious world. There is the original trilogy, which I really enjoyed. I read like 2020. Actually, I remember that. I got it out from the library right before our library shut down. So I had that 4 months or something like that. But this is the 4th book. Now I've read all the way through The Box in the Woods, which is where our main character of Stevie gets back together with some of her friends at like a summer camp where there's this mystery to be solved, right? So she's kind of made a name for herself as this like sleuth. I almost said youth sleuth, as a solver of mysteries, shall we say. But now it sounds like they're in their senior year at Ellingham Academy, and Stevie is bored. There's no cold case to solve. Her boyfriend's off in London. And then it sounds like David, her boyfriend, invites her and her friends to join him in his study abroad. His new friend introduces Stevie to like a double murder cold case. So we've just moved locations, but we're still solving murders. I think it sounds fun. I'm not sure if this is like the intended final book in this world or if Stevie's just going to keep going and keep solving mysteries. But either way, I really enjoy it. Okay, so I have this book, and I might have put this on last year's fall TBR because I feel like these two are my fall covers. Like, I just wouldn't feel right reading this in the spring. It feels very fall. And so this is called You Again by Kate Goldbeck. This sounds really fun. For some reason, there are these two people, Ari and Josh, hate each other instantly, but it sounds like they have the same woman in common, and things go badly. Fast forward later in life, and things have happened in their careers, in their love lives, and they're brought back together and they form a friendship. And then I'm guessing it turns into love. So I guess it's enemies to friends to lovers. Sounds like the trope, but that sounds really fun. Okay, another one that maybe the book has nothing to do with fall, but I felt like this copy in particular has just like fall vibes written all over it. I mean, look at all those pretty leaves on the edges. So this is called The Courting of Bristol Keats by Mary E. Pearson. Now this is a fae book, if I remember right. Bristol Keats and her sisters are struggling after they have lost their parents, and they're in a bad situation until she hears from her aunt, promises to help them out, and actually reveals some stuff about her parents' disappearance. That maybe there's some other things involved, like fae creatures who kidnap them potentially. It sounds like Bristol journeys to the land of gods, fae, and monsters, and she makes a deadly bargain with a fae leader. And he might be involved in the parents' kidnapping or demise or what have you. One more book. And this book I've also put on so many TBRs, and this one sounds so good, and I also know the second book recently came out. So this is A Study in Drowning by Ava Reed. So what I understand this to be about is about a girl who loves books and loves stories, and she was like raised on this set of stories written by this certain man who's a little bit mysterious. But then for some reason she gets invited to his house, like can't remember if like he is like redesigning his house and needs some architects, and she wants to be involved because she just loves his stories. But yet when she gets there, there's another person there who's also vying for an opportunity. Then they are rivals, if you will, but I think it's also a love story. That just feels fall. I'm not sure if that's true or not. Honestly, I'm not sure if any of these are truly fall, but they are now officially on my fall TBR, which I love making because I will pull from this list of books when I am playing TBR University, my TBR game, because I often pull that prompt at the end of the game, and so I want some good options. But I also am going to put these books over here on my new shelves. I'm going to have a spot for my seasonal TBR, and so I want it to be right there. And so yes, let me know what you think of any of these books. Let me know if you have enjoyed them. Let me know if you think I would like them. Also, just tell me what you're most excited about in this upcoming season. And do you also do this where I very much tag some of these books for fall? I'm gonna read them in the fall, and then I never quite get to all of them. I hope it's not just me that does that. But anyway, that's what I have for this video. If you can't think of anything you necessarily want to say, let's do some leaves or something, some very fall related emoji down below just to let me know you were here. But otherwise, you guys, that's all I have. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next book video. All right, take care. Bye.